Yes.
So what if I didn't even check your answers last semester?
Then I don't know.
And your intelligence is below zero.
All right, so let's go ahead and start this. So 6.5 starter. I'm going to teach you the lesson basically through the starter. And then when you do your video notes, hopefully it won't be as difficult to understand, okay? So 6.5 is all about geometric. So please write this down. Geometric sequences. So geometric sequences. This is what this is about. We did arithmetic sequences a couple of months ago. That's when you had a pattern of like adding, or subtracting. Now we're doing geometric. So if arithmetic is adding, or subtracting pattern, take an educated guess. Lance, what do you think geometric is? Yeah, it's a multiply or divide pattern. It's actually not dividing. And the reason why is because remember how a couple weeks ago I said try to always write things in terms of multiply. So if you're like, no, it's divide by 2, I said no, write it as timesing it by half.
But it is technically.
It is. It's just that we don't like to do anything in terms of dividing in algebra just because it gets confusing. It confuses the kids. All right, so let's do this. Number 1, decide whether this sequence of numbers is arithmetic. So are you adding, subtracting? Or is it geometric? Are you multiplying? Or is it nothing? And then explain your reasoning. So look how you get from one number to the other. Can someone raise their hand if they think they know? Andrew, go. Why? So this is an arithmetic sequence, and it says explain why. So because your pattern is plus 10, right? You're adding 10, adding 10, adding 10. So it's arithmetic. Geometric would be if you're timesing it by something. Neither would be if you're like, there's no pattern. Okay, so that's the first biggest thing you need to know. Arithmetic is adding, subtracting. Geometric is multiplying, dividing. All right, let's do the next one then. Write the next 3 terms of the geometric sequence. So they're starting it off for us, and then graph it. So if I'm writing the next 3 terms, I like literally I'm just going to draw 3 blanks, then you just fill in the blanks. So I can't write the terms unless I know the pattern. Someone online, do you think you can unmute yourself and tell us what is the pattern? You're multiplying by 3. Good job. Okay, so some of you are like, how did you see that from 1/3 to 1? How do you know that it's times 3? You don't have to look at the first 2 numbers. You can look at the next 2 from 1 to 3. It's times 3. 3 to 9 is times 3. If you just have a brain fart and you're like, I truly don't know, then remember what you can do, what I taught you a couple weeks ago. Take the second number, which is 1, and then divide it by your first number, which is 1/3, and that tells you what your pattern is. Oh, it's 3. So it's times 3 times 3. All right, so in-person kids, 9 times 3. 27 times 3.
81.
And remember, use your calculator if you need to. 81 times 3. 243. All right. So those are my next 3 terms. Then it says graph the sequence. Normally when I graph, I have a point, like 1, 2, 7, 9. I just have a list of numbers. So remember when we did this the first time around, I said, okay, here's your set of numbers. This is the first term, the second term, the third term, the fourth term, the fifth term, the sixth term, the seventh term. So your points are 1, 1/3, 2, 1, 3, 3, 4, 9, 5, 27, 6, 81, 7, 243. Okay, so now let's graph. We don't have graph paper, so let's just sketch it out. At least for my x's, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wait, are these numbers always the y?
Yes.
Okay.
Always going to be, yeah. Your answers to your sequence will always be the y's. And the term number will always be your x. Okay, so it looks like my smallest number is 1/3, but I have to get up to 243. So I obviously can't count by like 2s or 10s. What do you think I should count by?
24s.
Okay, Lincoln. Sure, we can count by 24s, but why don't we do something a little bit smarter?
3.
5.
3.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aria. Someone with a little bit more sensible answer. 50. 50 would be great. If you really want to do 100, fine, though I think it's a little bit too much. I think 50 is a perfect one. So let's count by 50s. Well, because you can't count by 2s or 4s or 6s or 10s or 20s, because you have to go all the way up to 240, right? Count by 3s? So Like, because if I'm counting by threes, I have so many tick marks to get up to 243, right?
34.269.
Oh my gosh. All my
34
feelings of love towards you guys are just rushing back to me right now. And I'm like, oh, I missed you, this class, so much.
You mean despise, right?
Oh, despise? I don't know.
Both. I don't know.
Okay, and then let's graph it. So like 1 comma 1/3, that's basically at 0. 2 comma 1, that's basically at 0. 3 comma 3, that's still basically at 0. So you're just estimating where your dots are going to be. So just your best attempt, and then draw the dots. And then just remember, since this is a sequence, you can connect your dots. Oh, look, it looks exponential, exactly what we were doing back in December. Doesn't your life feel complete again?
We
Like
haven't
you
done
didn't
math
know
all
what you were
year.
missing until just this moment.
This is the first time I've done that all this year.
Yeah, same. I just made that joke.
I did. I did.
Someone said it second period, so both of you did not make this joke first.
Yeah, I'm a
Har,
bonehead.
har, har. Okay. So that's how you do a question like number 2. Let's do number 3 now. Write the equation for the nth term of the geometric sequence. So like you have a sequence, now write the equation and then find the 8th term. Okay. So you need to know the equation. You're going to learn it through your video notes, but let me just write it for you on the side right now, okay? So here's your equation. Please write it down. A to the n equals A1 times R to the n minus 1. So you will learn this through your video notes. I don't know. Let's go over what each thing is. So, blast from the past. A1. Someone online, can you unmute yourself if you remember? What does A1 stand for? Someone online.
Yes.
Anyone online remember what does A1 stand for? Okay, in-person kids, do you know what A1 stands for?
The first time stands for it.
The first term. Lincoln, I am recording myself right now, and it's going to be blasted off into the internet, so I need to choose my words of love for you wisely. And Lincoln, I adore you so much. All right, R. What does R stand for?
R is the radical.
Nope, not the radical. Not really. Well, okay, sure. You can say the rate of change, but you're not doing like y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Yes, Lance? No, your initial value is your A1, your first term. Yes. Yeah, what is timesing by? So basically you call that your common ratio. But really it's just what you're multiplying by. What's the pattern number?
Isn't that basically rate of change?
Yeah, it is. But if I were to say rate of change, some of you think slope. And when you say slope, some of you think like the y sub 2 minus 1. But that's not how you do it for this one. N. Does anyone know that one? Andrew? Yeah, the term you're looking for. So it's the term you're looking for. So the term you are looking for. So if you want like the 8th term, like this one, then R is 8. If you want the 1000th term, then the N is 1000. Okay, so let's change this sequence into an equation. So I have A to the 8, because it's asking me to find the 8th one. So A to the 8 equals A1, first term, what is it? 11 times R. R is your common ratio, your multiply pattern. So what number is the multiply pattern? -3, because you're timesing everything by -3. To the n minus 1. So what number was the n? What number am I looking for? 8 minus 1. Good. So that's the equation. That's the first part of the answer. The second part of the answer tells, like, so what is the 8th term? I don't know. That's a lot of math. So plug it in your calculator. You have 11 times, -3. Do I have to put that in parentheses, do you think?
No.
Maybe. Great answer, Michael.
Yes, no.
Yes,
try.
yes. So guys, whenever it's a negative, you always want to put it in parentheses. If you honestly are unsure, then just put it in parentheses. Parentheses is never going to hurt you, okay? But not putting it in parentheses will definitely hurt you some of the time. So if you're the least bit unsure, just put it in parentheses. You can really type in 8 minus 1 if you want to, or realize 8 minus 1 is just 7. Okay, negative 24,057. Boom. That's my other answer that I have to do. And I can do that by just putting it in my equation. I don't have to keep on timesing -3, timesing -3, timesing -3. Why what?
Why you put it?
Oh, that's why. I got a different number.
Did you type this in like this?
Yes, but I
Actually,
put 7 instead of 8 minus 1. I don't know.
Hudson, what answer did you get?
I got Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, show me your calculator later then, okay? All right.
I think I know what
Okay. If you don't, then let me know. Yes, Evan?
I'm confused on how you got negative.
Okay, so look, do you see this is your sequence? 11 to -33 to +99. So to get from 11 to -33, didn't you multiply by a -3?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, number 4, last one. The number of bacteria in a culture doubles each hour. After how many hours is the number of bacteria 7,680? So basically they're saying, like, if I were to extend this chart, like, which hour would give me the answer of 7,680?
What about me?
So I could do this the elementary school way, and I could, like, just fill in all the charts because I know what the pattern is, and then just keep on going and going and going until I see 7,680. But that might take me forever. I don't know. So there should be an easier way because you are in algebra.
Divide.
No.
Nope.
Multiply.
Were you thinking of dividing 7,000 by the 120?
Yeah.
No, it would not, and I'll tell you why. So if you divide 7,680 divided by 120, you think that your answer is 64, and I'll tell you later that it's definitely not 64.
Oh, because it's compounding. I see.
Yes, Lance?
Can you just divide 240 or 480 by 3, and then whatever you get, you divide.
That's what you get. Yeah, but you didn't find it. You dropped your phone. Yeah, I did that 3 times in this class. But, it didn't.
Okay, online kids, do you have any idea? Okay, so you kind of do have to do it to the something power. Yeah, Haley, what are you thinking?
Oh.
Oh, okay. So Haley said, let's plug it into this formula. So let's do that. So you have a to the n equals a1. What number is a1? 120 times r. What is r? 2, right? Do you see how it's times 2 times 2? It also says doubles. Double means to multiply by 2. So 2 to the, do you know n? No, that's what you're looking for. So n minus 1. Okay, so here's the thing. There's no way that I can solve for an n for an exponent. You've never learned that in a math class before.
What if you did the square root thing?
You can't do the square root thing. You don't know how to do that. You can later in algebra 2, but not in algebra 1.
We did something that we did keep that.
With log.
Didn't you?
Yes, you do log, but you haven't technically learned it yet.
Never mind.
Does anyone else have any idea how to get this number? Andrew?
Elementary 2 over and over again.
That would take me forever if I multiplied by 2 over and over and over again. I mean, I could, Andrew, and you would get the right answer. That's the elementary school way, but let's spend less time.
Multiply by a multiple.
Use your calculator.
Use your calculator. So what am I doing with my calculator?
You already were in first.
What's 2 plus 2?
But then you would just putting in one.
Okay, thanks.
So do you see what I can do? I can type my equation in the y equals. Lance, turn around, please. And what I can do is I can type this equation in here. N is just x, and a to the n can just be y equals. So why don't we do that? All of you type your equation into the y equals, right? So go to y equals right here, type it in. And so once I type it in my equation, how do I find the x when my answer, oh, my table. So I can go second and then table the graph. And then do you see how if I scroll to the 7,680, it would be 7? So my answer is actually then 7. Okay, so you could do it the elementary school way, but this way would be faster. This is why my answer is not whatever when we divided it. I can't remember what answer that was. Yes, Lance?
How do you like actually solve this? Like, let's just plug it into the calculator. How do you like?
You haven't learned it before.
Oh,
You've never learned it. You're going to learn it in 10th grade in Algebra 2. So I don't even like, it's very complicated looking right now because, well, you have no idea what I'm going to write. So there's no point. Lunchtime, lunch. All right. So, online